I guess today I'm going to be giving you an in-depth, useful counter-strafing guide for when and why to be doing it. And I have some background deathmatch gameplay I'm going to be showing to you guys as well. So I actually already have a video on how to counter-strafe and kind of like mechanics behind it. It's not really the hardest thing to do. I think the bigger problem is people not understanding like when and why. So that's kind of why I'm making this video. So the main function of counter-strafing is to avoid being shot by your enemies and to throw your enemy's aim off. So with that being said, there are a lot of scenarios where you don't really want to be counter-strafing. Primarily whenever someone's not looking at you, if you want to spray with a gun like the Phantom, or if you just want to go and commit for a kill. Also, if you get shot, you're going to be slowed. So this always happens. If you ever get shot, you're slowed for a period of time. And this means that whenever you try to strafe, you're going to be like a slug. You're going to be very slow, and it's not really worth trying to go for the strafe. So if you're already shot, if you're like getting shot first, and you're not really in control of the gunfight, you really just have to kind of commit. So this is probably the most important thing that you need to understand, especially if you're lower rank. And what this means is that you don't need to be counter-strafing all the time. You really only need to be counter-strafing whenever you haven't been shot yet and you're just getting into a fight. So next, right here, actually, I wanted to show you guys this. This is an example of me counter-strafing around a corner. So they notice me, I strafe behind the wall, and then I peek back out. This is something that can be very valuable if you don't currently do it. That really just throws off the enemy's aim, and honestly, their brain a little bit too. It just confuses them. So keep that in mind, and try to make use of cover and like walls in the game, right? Because you can use those whenever you're trying to strafe as well, definitely. So you notice a lot of the time I don't even need to strafe because I'm just getting the kills. If you can just get the kills, then you don't need to strafe. Like right here, I strafe a little more than I normally would because he caught me off guard by how and when he ran out. Right here, I'm just full spraying and running, only because I'm close range. So next, guys, I wanted to talk about length or distance strafed. So basically, should you be strafing a shorter or a longer amount of distance? So how far should you actually strafe in either direction? So I say that probably you really only need to strafe a small amount, because if you strafe for too long, the enemy can just kill you because you're moving in a predictable way. Especially if the enemy already sees you, right? You only need to like tap A or D just slightly. You can probably strafe too little, but like just hold it for a very slight second, and then that really is going to be enough to, again, throw off your opponent's aim and probably make them whiff in a lot of scenarios. So kind of, practice that, and that's really going to do you quite good. With that being said, however, there are some scenarios where you're going to want to strafe for longer distances. So if you are, I don't know, if you are trying to get behind cover like I was doing against that Astra earlier, you can strafe for a longer distance. Or just some specific scenario where counter-strafing for a longer distance would be more ideal. Absolutely take advantage of that. But right here, here's a perfect example. Even though I lose the gunfight, you see that I only strafe, I shoot, and then I strafe like a very small amount, like not that far at all, and I strafe back, but I'm slowed whenever I try to do that. So again, guys, trying to keep in mind that we don't need to be strafing all the time. I think that is something that a lot of low rank players need to get into their head, because although yes, counter-strafing is important, it's not like the end-all be-all of what's going to make you a very good player. Counter-strafing is just one of the many tools you need to have in your toolkit to be good at the game, and to improve. So just keep that in mind. So next thing is very strafing technique. So if you're always strafing in the same direction, the same way, so let's say I always strafe to the right a small amount, and I keep strafing to the right a small amount, then it's going to become predictable, especially as you get up against higher ranked and better players. They're going to be able to predict your movement a lot better. Whereas if you strafe right, strafe left again, and strafe right, left, and then, stuff like that. And also vary the amount of distance you strafe. So if you just strafe a tiny amount, like a lot of the time, try to occasionally strafe a longer, or like a bigger distance, right? And so these are just some small tips. Again, this background gameplay, you see me strafing occasionally. Here's another scenario of me strafing around the wall a little bit, even though, again, I don't kill him. So, sorry, I went back a little bit too far. But right here, around this Sova, I strafe in and out of the wall. And you see how I strafe like a small amount at first? So very small taps on my A and D keys. And then I come all the way out and swing him here. And that's a much bigger strafe, because he's not expecting that. He's expecting me to just keep going in and out like a bobblehead, right? And then I swing hard. and he most likely doesn't expect, and that's why he doesn't kill me. But yeah, this is just about the end of the game. Again, you could practice this in deathmatch and try to really focus on not doing it all the time. Because if I tell someone to go practice deathmatch or go practice counter-strafing in deathmatch, they're probably all they're gonna do is literally be strafing the whole time, and you don't need to be doing that. So yeah, here's the end of the video. Hopefully that was some good gameplay. If you guys have any other questions, let me know in the comments. Again, check my other video on my channel. It's one of my most viewed. And without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.